Hey, what's going on, everybody? I know that it takes a couple seconds for folks to get on all the channels and all the lives that are going out right now. We got YouTube pushing. We have the Facebook group, Amputate Fear group that's going on as well. And I'm so excited to be with each and every one of you today. So as you come on into the room. I have a lot of stuff that we got to get to today because I'm going to be zipping. Got to be zipping. This is an incredible day, and I want to just make sure that each of you are in here because I want to be sharing some things with you that are really personal from things that I've learned in my past. I don't have a guest for you. The guest for us today on Hurdlers of Adversity, Inspirers and Maximizers of Pivotal Moments is me. So it's John Register, your host. So I wanted to come in and just share a few things with you. So if you're coming in on Facebook, just put that in the chat. Make sure, hopefully I can see your name so I can make sure that I can give you a shout out. Lynn's on, Kendra Dominic's on. Thank you so much. There goes Kendra. Yay. They got a great event that's happening right now because her mom is thebomb.com. And Kendra's is working on some great years, a great thing. I said years because I saw Lynn Kears note on 20 years. Thank you, Lynn. So they have this veterans group. So Kendra, you can shout that out, put them in the box, and they're helping veterans in the Virginia area have a great program they do. I was emceeing their program last year, so that was absolutely amazing. So yep, Kendra, thank you for that. All right, coming in, Hananya team, thank you so much. Hello, how are you doing? Karan, how are you? What's going on? What is that, Velvet? Hey, what's happening? Got a lot of stuff to get for you today. This is just going to be such an amazing thing. I'm so happy, right? Because tomorrow is the 20th anniversary of me winning the silver medal in Sydney, Australia. I got the silver medal right here with me. I was going to bring it and show it to you all. I'll take it out of the box in a moment. But just wanted to just share a lot of things have happened since winning the silver medal and kind of before. And I want to share some of those things with you because it's really powerful. And if you have any questions, just put those in the chat box. If I look over here, that's what I'm looking for, your comments right now. But first of all, I have some crazy news that happened, right? Did you all see that? I'm going to go back and kind of get out of this screen I was on here. I'm not sure where I'm at. But did you see what happened yesterday? I started getting blown up. Right, all my buddies and friends were saying, "Hey, John, what's going on? I mean, this is cool. This is great." And I was like, "What's going on? I'm doing the presentation. Can you wait till it's over?" So, you're the mother of Sharifa Yatim. Oh, salam alaikum, kev halach. I hope you're doing well today. Thank you so much for being on. Your daughter is amazing. My wife and I, we love her. She's just beautiful, and the work she's doing is just beautiful. So, thank you for being on. It's late over there. Are you over in the United Arab Emirates? It's really late. Sharifa didn't want to get on because it was going to be that late. So what happened was the New York Times came out with that article, and I'm going to post it in the chat right now. They came out with the article over at the museum, the Olympic and Paralympic Museum. How cool is that? And I was in the article. I can't believe it's been 20 years either. I'm that old. Doggone it. And then there was another one. This was an article that came out a little bit earlier. So you may not be able to get that one and be able to look at it because you got to sign up for the New York Times. But this one was in 2005 when I started building the Paralympic military sport program. And what did that turn into? That turned into Warrior Games. And what did that turn into? Prince Harry came over in 2013 to look at it as his model for the Invictus Games. And so what a life, right? That happens just because of one wrong step over hurdle. 6 years after my injury, I'm at the Paralympic Games in 2000. Long jumping. That's crazy. So thank you so much. Wow. I got a wow. New York Times, big time. I know, right, Lynn? Wow. New York Times, got to shout that out. Big time. Wow for Kendra and Abigail. Thank you so much. It's been an incredible journey. And the great thing is all of you are with me on it. we're in this together because it takes all of us. As I'm going to share with you. So that was cool. New York Times article that came out. So I hope that you get a chance to look at it. Go read it. It's a powerful article it's not in the sports section, right? It's in the arts and entertainment section because the museum is about art and how we are inclusive in the design, but not only inclusive and including people with disabilities, it makes the entire museum accessible. So I hope folks are coming on from the United States Olympic and Paralympic Museum. Fantastic job to the builders of that museum. Heard you at the IREM conference just last week. Yeah, what's up? Just outside of Boulder. IREM, that was awesome. You guys were great. We had the book club that we did. We had a fantastic time. So thank you for being in the room where it happened, the room where it happened, the room where it happened. All right. So there goes my Hamilton skills. So what else we have? I'm looking at this right now. In this COVID environment, I'm going to be talking about this on like November the 22nd or 23rd, somewhere around there. I'm going to do another kind of showcase because there's some things in COVID I think that we can learn right now since we've been 7 months past it. And the question I'm posing, I'm always throwing kind of darts, right? Is in the mindset of COVID, can we have this every single day? So you got to come and tune into that one. We're gonna have a great lively discussion on that because I've been learning some things around COVID. Should we be in a COVID environment every single day? Whew. Wow, that's big time thought. Don't you Hamilton me, Karan says. That is so funny. That's great. And the Facebook user here says, I heard you at the conference. So thank you, Connie, for saying congratulations. Really appreciate it. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, one more thing. On Monday, Monday, I'll be back at the Olympic and Paralympic Museum. I'll be doing a presentation over there, but I just was asked to be on to kind of walk people through the Paralympic Museum with a PBS show. So if you saw Samantha Brown's show, we're going to be doing a special on that as well, walking through that museum. And hopefully you get a chance to see my artifact that I've left in there, a leg, because I don't have a leg to stand on. Boom. Thanks, Connie. I appreciate that. So, okay, let's get into this. These 20 things. So I thought I would do 20 things of what I learned, lessons that I've learned from winning the silver medal. And you can post anything in the chat. I would love to hear that and just see what's on your mind. We have Facebook users, we have LinkedIn users. I'm seeing somebody that's in there on YouTube. So thank you. So Lynn says, I'm on fire for being on PBS. Yeah, woo! It's the second time. I was on a local, now it's national. So I'm just like, what's happening? What's going on? Karam is saying he's blowing up. That's Martin. So let's get into this. The first thing, entitlement. Entitlement. That's number one. Entitlement. What do I mean? A lot of people say, oh my gosh, you almost won the gold medal. That produces an entitlement mentality. What people are saying is I am deserving something I have not yet earned. And I think we have a lot of entitlement in our country right now. Not entitlement as we talk about it from the government sense, but entitlement that we have access, we want and desire access to things that we have not yet earned. We earn what we earn. Gold earns gold, silver earns silver, bronze earns bronze, fourth earns fourth. Can you be satisfied with the best effort that you gave on the day? For me, October 23rd, 2000. Can you have your best effort? Because I didn't go into the Paralympic Games saying, I can't wait to win the silver medal. No one does that. But there will be a winner at the end of the day. And if you've competed and at the best of your ability, you should be honored with the outcome that you have. What does that say about the gold medalist, Lucas Christian? I just emailed him, right? Or put him on LinkedIn. Hopefully he'll come in because I know he's over in Switzerland right now. But I want him to kind of chime in on that. And we're going to talk to him at a longer length because we're still good buddies. We're still friends. And he was the world record holder. He was the Paralympic champion. You just don't come into somebody's house and say, I'm going to destroy you. You better respect the house. Respect the house. And come in and be honorable, right? In the whole moment. So we don't earn what we earn what we earn. We're not entitled to things that we have not yet earned. So that was number one, the first thing I learned. Extension stop was number two. So what's an extension stop? An extension stop, when the leg, my artificial leg, it bends like this, right? It's bending this way. And when I'm running, if I don't have an extension stop, it'll pull the guts right out of the hydraulic unit that I'm running on. So think about a leg or a knee going into hyperextension like my knee did when I had my accident. The leg hyperextends and it rips out and damages the hydraulic unit that's helping me to walk and run. I sent the unit back 3 times because I kept ripping the guts out of the back of it. It was spilling oil all over the place, and I would get it refabricated and sent back to me. That took 6 months worth of time, and those three times I had to send it back. Was that the 5 inches in those 6 months that I needed to win gold? So sometimes what we don't know can crush us. It can really hurt us. So we have to find out all the people that are around us that we can push into these spaces with and understand all the things that we might need. The interesting thing is, can we forecast that out? And that's what I'm talking about with businesses right now. How can we forecast out what our needs are right now and not have to go backwards to look at what we need? So that's a kind of skill set that we look at. And we'll talk about that in a moment as well. So that's the extension stop. The third thing was being a through the knee amputee versus a true above knee amputee. Everybody in the competition was a through knee amputee, except for me and Albert Reed, who's also an American that was in the group. So we being true above the knees, we don't have a base that we can actually weight bear on the bottom of our stump. So that means we weight bear right underneath the ischium bone, kind of underneath the tailbone area. So I lose about about a few inches of lever to those that are through the knees that can actually weight bear on the bottom of their prosthetic. Lucas is a through the knee. He can weight bear. Victor Gorenson, he's also a weight bearer. So he won the bronze medal. And I knew I couldn't compete with those gentlemen in the 100 meters and 200 meters, but because of my skill set as a long jumper at Arkansas, when I jumped, 27 feet, I knew how to jump. I just had to figure out how to jump off the other leg. That was something. So the through the knee versus above the knee was something. If I did have to go back and do it again, would I become a through the knee amputee? Because if I'm a through the knee amputee, gold medal is mine. Lucas doesn't have a chance. So that's what is it? And, how do we choose what it is to amputate in our life and how we're going to do the incision and the structure of that. Number 4, viscosity. Viscosity is the oil density that's inside of the knee, inside the knee unit. Because I don't have a knee, I have to use a hydraulic unit. So about 7 days before the competition, before the long jump competition, my prosthetist that's over in Sydney says, why don't you have a unit that has more viscosity so you can actually run faster? I'm like, what's that? That information would have been very helpful from the manufacturer, was Mauk that was doing it at the time. I'm not mad at them, but it would have been very helpful to know when I was training at my optimum so I could actually train at a higher rate, a faster speed. And was that because of that lack of information, was that the 5 inches I didn't win by? Who knows? All 3 of those, the knee, the viscosity of the unit, and the extension stop, did all 3 of those combinations of not knowing that information cost me a gold? I don't know. What do you think? So we'll stop it there. That's the first 5. What's in the box right now? I want to know what's happening in the chat. What do you think about that? What do you think about those things? We talked about entitlement, extension stops, through the knee versus above the knee, viscosity. That was 4. Sorry, I got one more. And coaches. So the other thing about this was coaching. I had 3 coaches after I had my accident. The first coach, Remy Korchimny, who I had before the accident happened. Remy is from the Ukraine. He coached Valery Borisov to the gold medal and was part of the coaching team, gold medal in 1972 in the Olympic Games. And he's my 400-meter hurdle coach now. And so Remy's kind of gotten me back in the game, and he's writing workouts for me, but he lives in San Francisco or in the Bay Area, Castro Valley. He then gives the workouts to where I'm living at the time in Virginia to Greg Petrosian. So Greg is at George Mason University, and Greg is helping me do these workouts that Remy has done for me. Then I get to Sydney, Australia, and he has another person that's there. The daughter of a person that he used to coach with in the Ukraine, in Russia, is now Irina Diskovina. So now she becomes a surrogate coach that helps me on last minute preparations. So who's a team that you have around you, and can you help them? Can they help you move forward in time as well? So Lynn says, I think if you had all those three things, you have made the absolutely. I like you for sure. And I hope Lucas gets on here as well, so you can tell him that, because I think he would love to know it. So yeah, I think with the extension stop, understanding how I could have been a through the knee versus a true above knee, and then the viscosity of the density of the oil, I think that's right. So let's go to the next one, the next 5. Seeing around the curve. Now, seeing around the curve means being able to recognize things that are your hidden spots, your blind spots. And in preparing for the Olympic Games, the Paralympic Games, there were a lot of blind spots that I had. But how do I see around the curve? So I put people in line and on the team that could see that for me. And it came after really that story around the extension stop, because I needed to say, okay, who can see for me from what I can't see? Because obviously the prosthetist that I have right now can't see it, because they would have told me about it. And the manufacturer person I had that was doing the knee stuff didn't see it as well, but I didn't know that until later on. So I began looking for people that I could build and bring on the team faster, so I could have less downtime, so that we can get through the process faster, because they had been there before. There was nothing against the prosthetist that I had in Virginia at all. He just didn't know how runners ran with artificial limbs. But when I got to RGB Prosthetics out in California, they understood it. They could help me see around the corners that I couldn't yet see. In your businesses, who do you get on your team to help you see around the corners that you cannot yet see, right? Study the competition. I should have brought my book in here. I have a whole book. Doggone it. I wish I would have done it. I forgot. Sorry. But I still have my book of what I did on all of my training. And I studied Lucas. Everywhere he went, I knew what his jumps were. I knew what I had to do. But you never count out the gold medalist. You never count out the world record holder. You have to prepare beyond what their psyche is to even begin to think you're going to win one. It's amazing to me when I was working for another organization that, they're trying to see who's going to win medals at the games. And it was amazing to be around the table and watch these individuals that had no idea of how to win a medal in the first place discount a gold medalist. Never discount. They're the only ones that have done it. You haven't. You never discount that person. And when you do, that's their competitive advantage. They just discounted you. Oh boy, they just messed up. So I think that's the one thing around that, being able to study the competition. And then the village. This is a long one, because I had a lot of people that helped me, and I had to celebrate them and honor them in such a fashion, because they were just amazing to give me the wings I needed to advance and move forward in my quest for the games of 2000. So here they are, right? Of course, my wife and my family, Alice, John Jr., my daughter Ashley, my immediate family. Ashley was 3. Sometimes they would go out to the track with me and help me with shoveling pits or doing kind of the tasks that I needed to have done. So that was one. Then I had the Community and Family Support Center I was working for the United States Army. They gifted me some time off and leave to actually go to Sydney, and then I could work the hours I still worked, but I took my lunch breaks and I went over to TC Williams High School to actually do some of my running, and then George Mason in the afternoon. And then Maury. So Maury sees an article written by Heather Dinich in the Washington Post about me training at TC Williams High School, and winds up gifting me some cash because he sees in the article that I want to get my family over there. And so a person, Maury, he comes up and gives me a check the next day and says, I want to make sure that your family is secured over in Sydney. I'm really honor to know you, because you used to walk the track while I used to train. So that was phenomenal. So what I did with Maury's check was I bought out a 3-bedroom apartment for my wife, my son and daughter, and my parents. So they all had their own separate rooms. They had a washer and dryer. They can get back and forth, and they were all taken care of. And then my longest friend, Andrew Dudley, we had his sibling on, Steve Dudley, a couple of weeks ago. Andrew gifted me with another one, and that helped me get my family over to Sydney. Right? That was just amazing, the gift that he gave to me. So all these people were a part of my life and helped me do that. The American Plastics Council, they were the ones that gave me on plastics tour. Remember that old commercial said, "Plastics makes it possible." That was one of me. That was one of my lines I used to say, because my leg is made of polymers. And so I'd be kind of the good news story at the end of the show. Rob Krebs, Candy Score, and others that were over there at the American Plastics Council. And then the Ohio Willowwood, Robert Arbogast, the owner of that prosthetic company down in Mount Sterling, Ohio. They don't even make running legs. But why did he choose me to be a product person? It was an amazing gift. And there was another group that check this out. There was another company that I went to ask for sponsorship, and they said no. I said, no problem. People can say no. That's fine. That's okay. And the Ohio Willow Company picked me up. But then when I won the silver medal, the same company that negated me and said no wanted to use me as one of their athletes to say, oh, he was on our product when he won the silver medal. And I said no. And they did it anyway. They did it anyway. How dare they? I took that back to Mr. Arbogast. He said, that's how some companies operate. Don't worry about it. What an amazing individual. Those are the type of people you want to be around. That was powerful. All right. So then we go back. We got Jungle's Gym, T.C. Williams High School, George Mason, Heather Dinich. I told you she wrote that article, one of the best articles I've ever seen written. And then who else was it? There was. So those, I'm going to stop right there with those. Number 9, find the time to train just to get it done. In your businesses or in your life, you got to find the time. You got to make the time to get things done. So I had a really busy schedule. I had an 8-hour day. I was working at a job at the Army's Community and Family Support Center. But I trained in the morning time, went down to Jungle's Gym. And then I trained in the evening time over George Mason. And in between, I trained at T.C. Williams High School. So you got to just find the time to get it all in to make sure that you are putting yourself in position to win. How much has COVID taught us that, right? And then number 10, find alternative ways to train. So I told you that I had Greg Petrosian as a surrogate coach. And what Greg did was he had a lady by the name of Olympian triple jumper, Tiambe Hurd. So Tiambe was training with him. And as a jumper, we could jump together and kind of push each other in the pit. But also I saw those folks that were running the 1,500 meters. They were running about my speed as they did laps. And I would just jump in at 200 meters and run with them and try to stay up with them the entire time. So that's what's going on. So now what's happening with me right now is my leg is kind of stretched out underneath this thing, and I'm starting to get these phantom pains that are starting to hit me. So if you see me jump, that's what's happening. I'm jumping because of the phantom pains that are hitting me now right now. All right, so that's 10. What else? What is going on right now? That's terrible. I think that's terrible is because of the phantom pains that hit me right now. So that's why I'm jumping. Like, oh my gosh, come on, really? Am I going to really get these phantom pains happening right now? So milers are running repeats, and I jump in with at the 200, and then Tiambe Hurd also on Greg's team is helping me with my jumping. My son and daughter are coming out the track with me, and they're helping me, kind of raking the pit. And then the 11th thing is getting the competitive advantage. So studying Lucas, training 3 weeks in an alternate time zone. So right before I was about to go to the games, I switched my whole training around to train at the time I was going to be jumping. And then I would take a heart rate test. I would run 4 times 100 meters. And in that time, I would check my heart, my beats per minute. It was about 115, 120 beats per minute. And when I got to Sydney and I did the same litmus test, 4 times 100 meters, my heart rate was 178 beats a minute. So I knew I had to bring that down. I'm glad I had 11 days before the competition actually started to bring that down so I could actually be ready to compete. And it was still over 130 before on the day of the competition, which means that I still didn't get down to my optimum level. Was that the 5 inches that I lost by? So, and then leave a legacy. That's number 12. My last competition. My last competition was not at the Paralympic Games. My last competition was in Lille, France, because I knew if I got 4th place or better, I would earn a spot for a team member. So legacy is the next one. So I earned that 4th place spot, and a team member earned their spot. We had another spot open up for the United States for the Athens team. So that was that one. And then I already said number 13, which is never discount the gold medalist. That is just, I'll say that over and over again. Never discount the gold medalist. Okay, what we got? What the company did. Absolutely, for sure. Right. That was terrible what the company did. That some people just like that. And they just they don't want to support you when you're on the rise up because they don't think that you're going to make it. But when you make it, now that everybody wants to get on the gravy train. That's like LeBron, right? LeBron kept his squad with him. When he started rising up and all the agents wanted to be with him, he said, no, I got my own crew. He was even willing to fail, right? Remember when he did the big announcement, I'm going to move down to Miami, the whole big deal, and everybody started telling him that was the wrong thing to do. Well, he learned from that, and now he's built his whole mega empire. Now tell him he's wrong. He's got a whole station. He's elevating a whole bunch of people, and he's building more than just basketball, right? He's got school systems going on, for goodness sake. So don't listen to those naysayers, and they're going to do what they have to do, but they're always playing catch up to you. Then number 14, throw in the kitchen sink. I needed to use every single trick in the book to try to win that competition. So in the long jump, sometimes the wind is swirling in the stadium. And if you time it, you can start figuring out when those cycles are happening. And if you are good at math, you can time the cycle so when the wind is behind you, and you can wait just a few more seconds so that you can put the wind in the competition's face when they jump. So it's not doing things illegal, but it's doing everything that's smart to get you have the competitive advantage. And so I started doing all that stuff. I knew there was another one, running the 200 meters. So the 2 days before the long jump was the 200 meters in the preliminaries. But there was an athlete that dropped out, which meant that it was going to be a 9-lane final. There are 9 lanes on the track. There's no need to run a prelim. So I started getting all my cronies together and saying, we don't need to run this prelims. And I started enlisting all these people to make that as to make it so that we'd have to run. What did that do? It saved my leg for the long jump. So you got to use everything in your arsenal. Number 15, mindset focus. So I'm going to stop at 15 really quick. I want to see what your thoughts are right there as we're going through this. All right. Karma will weave her magic with their company out of integrity. Yeah, they're out of business. They actually had to sell the company. So they got their dime and they're out, so now it's another company that as runs them. So, but it's not really the company, right? It's really maybe it is the company, but it's the person that did it. That's I'm more upset with than anything else. So long handle spoon now, right? But what we put in, I think I call it, the law of sowing and reaping. You can tell a person's life by what follows after them, because whatever they're planting is going to grow. It just follows. So if they're planting great seeds, greatness is going to come after them. They're planting horrible seeds, you're going to see nothing but destruction come after their lives as well. There you go. Right. There you go. So, right. So let's go on to let's go 15 to 20 and we'll get out of here. Number 15, mindset focus. I had rehearsed all before. I was rehearsing my jumps. I could see them on the plane ride over. I was rehearsing. And even on the day of my competition, I was rehearsing, going through the motions, making sure that I was dialed in. Number 16, minimize the ripples of disturbance. Now, rehearsing will help minimize the ripples of disturbance. So what are ripples of disturbance? I had this term when I was working for the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee. The ripples of disturbance are when something happens that are in your control or out of your control that begin to spiral, and you can't control it after it leaves the nest, after it leaves you. So we got to manage that up front. A lot of times it comes with Olympians. They get to the games, or Paralympics get to the games, And family members want to know, where do I buy my tickets? How do I get my tickets? Come on, where do I get my tickets, John? And you're trying to be focused on the competition that you've been training for 4 to 8, 12 years. And you don't want to be worried about how to get tickets. So that's a ripple. That could be a ripple of disturbance, and it can impact the person that is trying to show up. And so what we do is we kind of got to stay in the game and lean on our team behind the team. So that's the next one, right? Stay in the village, stay in the game. When my wife and my family arrived at the airport, I actually went outside the village to go pick them up, and I felt an immediate loss of being in that, around all those athletes and being in that moment. I could feel the aura leave. I had to get back in the village. So we have to get back in the place where we get our best thoughts and we can push forward. A lot of times when I'm working with companies and businesses, we talk about resilience, and embedded in the word resilience is the word silence. How many times are we hearing our own voice before we actually move out? Whether it's meditation, whether it's prayer, whatever you're doing, you need to center yourself in a space where you get your best thoughts. And that's what I needed to do for myself, was put myself back in the game and stay in the game all the time. And then the number 18, cut your nails. Cut your nails. So my toe was really hurting 2 days before the competition. And I couldn't get the person inside the village to cut my toenail, because it was just hurting so bad. It was at the edge of the shoe, and I needed it cut down. Remember, I've been over there for almost 2 weeks now, and so I needed my toes trimmed, my toenails trimmed. So she finally comes in with the big hacksaw and starts whittling down my nails. And that next day was a jump, and I was able to feel comfortable in the shoe in order to jump the distance. And the shoe is now over the Olympic and Paralympic Hall of Fame, or the museum. And so that's cut the nails. And number 19, honor the medal ceremony moment. Honor that moment. Most athletes, when they arrive to the medal ceremony moment, there are only 3 that get a chance to be up on the podium. Only 1 gold medalist, 1 silver medalist, 1 bronze medalist for that competition, to see who was the best, second best, and third best in the world on that particular day, at that particular time, at that hour. You get a chance to see who's the best. And that's when you measure the success. But the interesting thing is, when the flags start rising, you can hear the silence in the stadium, and it just pushes through a person's body. And even though the American flag wasn't being risen up, there's an honor that goes to understanding everybody's effort that happened on that day. And it goes not just with those 3 medalists that are up there, but everyone in the stadium, and everyone begins to, after it's over with, to applaud the effort. And I believe that's the closest thing that we get to peace on earth in the world, because everybody is celebrating different countries, and they're celebrating the efforts of individuals, no matter what they look like, no matter how they show up. They are honoring and celebrating. So honor the moments, honor your medal moments, ceremony moments. And then finally, thank the people who supported your endeavors. Always go back and say thank you. So those are my comments for that. I don't know if I can actually share a screen, but I'm going to put in the chat. I think what I'm going to do is put in the chat where you'll go. So everything included the kitchen sink. That's a lesson for life. Absolutely a lesson for life. It is a lesson. So you gotta throw something, like with COVID, we had to throw everything at it. That's why I'll give a little bit away, because you're all on right now. I'll give a little bit of it away, of what I'm going to do on the 22nd of November, whatever that Monday is. I'm going to do another session. And one of the reasons I say, can we have a COVID mindset, is think about all the innovation you have made since COVID, all the changes you had to do, which means we were coasting before. And when COVID hit, we had to scramble to try to figure out and start to get smart. Many companies started shrinking. But the ones that were a lot and very successful, they started expanding. They started bringing people on. What happens when you shrink a company down? When you start furloughing? And I'm not saying that sometimes is the business thing to do, but when you start doing that, you get a shrinking of the mindset. People don't come innovative when they're worried about if they're gonna have a job the next day. So you start laying people off, mindset starts shrinking. You start adding people to the roles and saying, and giving them a goal and saying, in 3 months we got to figure this thing out. Mindsets open up. So we begin to figure it out. So we're going to talk about that on I think the 22nd of November. Let me look at that so I can actually see what day it's going to be. because I don't remember. Monday, the 23rd, 22nd as a Sunday. So the 23rd. Good stuff. Thanks, Abigail. Absolutely good stuff. So that's what we're talking about. We're going to talk about there on that day. So if you, I'm going to check back in here. I will send the link out so that you can actually register for it. It's no cost. We're just going to put it out there because I think it's important for all of us to hear it. So that's really my spiel for today. I really appreciate all of you being on and all of you supporting this show. It's a work of love. I love doing it. And I love seeing the comments that keep and continue to come in. I have my notes here. I don't really, have too much of a script. I just try to go off the cuff and really speak from the heart to each and every one of you. So I will say that it was interesting in this COVID situation that I was able to do 10 presentations last week in 5 days, right? 10 presentations, 5 days. 4 of them happened on one day, on Tuesday. And I was in San Diego, I was in Rhode Island, and Washington, D.C., all on the same day. That could never happen pre-COVID. So there's some benefits of this as well. So I spoke for Veterans in Business on one day. After I did that live to them in a room with just 2 cameras and the tech crew, that was amazing. Then I went to the University of Rhode Island and spoke live for them in their kind of in the chat, kind of window like we're doing right now. Then I was back with VIB, and then I went at the same time I was live with the Rhode Island folks. The SHRM community had me on a pre-record with an interview that we did, and then back in the chat with Rhode Island later on that night. 4 presentations in one day. It's amazing that what we can do with technology if we can just throw everything at the kitchen sink and figure this thing out, right? FITFO, figure it the freak out. So thank you for the 20 important lessons. Absolutely. And being so fun. So thank you, Lynn. Yeah, I really appreciate it. It's fun. I'm getting ready to go head off. I want to surprise my mother. Don't tell her if you're in Chicago, because tomorrow also is not only the 20th anniversary of my long jump silver medal. Oh yeah, I got to show you the medal. I forgot about that. But it's also my mother's birthday. So she's in Chicago. I'm going to go to Chicago, check her out. So that's the medal. That's the medal right there. Listen, you are getting sleepy. You are getting sleepy. You're going to book John Register. That's what you're going to do. Book him for your next event. Thank you so much for everybody being on. Okay, we got to close the show out right. Like I told you on the 23rd, I'm going to do the speaker showcase. But I want you to recognize and remember that you are the inspirations. Inspirations are the catalyst to motivation. Motivation in turn causes actions. Actions then lead us to transformational results. And those results, they re-inspire us or allow someone else that's watching the process to catch the vision. So we say at Inspired Communications International, go forth and inspire your world. Why? Because go is your command. Forth is your direction. Inspire is your vocation. Because this is your DNA, it's personal to you, only you can do it, only you were designed to do it. And world, it's your sphere of influence. Go forth, inspire your world, everybody. My name is John Register. See you back here next Thursday at 3:12 for Hurdlers of Adversity, Inspirers and Maximizers of Pivotal Moments. Bye for now.